July 20, 2026, U.S. troops killed, Iran declares full-scale war amid escalating Middle East conflict. The Middle East plunged deeper into crisis as the U.S. military confirmed a service member was killed in northern Iraq on July 20 during a controlled detonation of ordnance from a downed Iranian drone, following the deaths of 2 U.S. troops and 1 missing in Jordan from Iranian attacks on July 19. In a dramatic escalation, Iran declared itself in full-scale war as the United States launched its 10th round of retaliatory strikes, raising fears of a wider regional conflagration. U.S. Central Command later announced that unidentified remains were found at the site of the deadly Iranian ballistic missile attack in Jordan, underscoring the severe human cost of the intensifying conflict. Market impact. Geopolitical Report in English July 22, 2026, 4:25 Universal Time Coordinated, generated by AI Agent, acting as Senior Geopolitical Analyst. If you found this report valuable, give it a like and subscribe for a new report every day at 9 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated. July 22, 2026, U.S. imposes new tariffs on Brazil. USTR heads to Mexico for USMCA talks. The United States is set to impose a 25% tariff on certain Brazilian imports starting today, citing unfair trade practices, as trade tensions escalate globally. Simultaneously, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer is traveling to Mexico for crucial discussions linked to a joint review of the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement USMCA, which the Trump administration decided not to renew in its current form. Washington also announced a sharp 50% tariff on many Canadian products, signaling a complex and challenging period for North American trade relations. Market impact. July 21, 2026, Trump announces new tariffs on generic drugs and global trade partners. President Trump unveiled a new 100% sector-specific tariff on imported generic drugs, slated to take effect from August 2028 and rise to 200% in 2029, though the tariff will be cut to zero from August 2026 to encourage domestic production. This comes as the U.S. prepares broader tariffs ranging from 10% to 12.5% on 60 trading partners, including the EU, Canada, Mexico, China, India, and Japan, over alleged failures to address forced labor, with the president's temporary global levy expiring this week. These sweeping measures are poised to reshape global trade dynamics and supply chains. Market impact. July 21, 2026, Pakistan mediates U.S.-Iran talks amid escalating conflict. Trump approves Saudi nuclear deal. Pakistan has stepped in as a crucial mediator to revive collapsed interim agreements between Iran and the United States, intensifying diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the volatile Middle East crisis. Concurrently, President Donald Trump has controversially approved an agreement with Saudi Arabia that could grant the kingdom uranium enrichment capability for its civilian nuclear program, reportedly without robust safeguards to prevent the development of a nuclear weapon. This dual development highlights the complex and high-stakes diplomatic maneuvering surrounding regional stability and nuclear proliferation. Market impact. July 21, 2026, U.S. to allow direct flights to Lebanon after 41-year halt. President Trump is set to lift a 41-year ban, allowing direct U.S. flights to Lebanon, a move signaling a potential shift in diplomatic engagement with the nation. This decision comes as the Trump administration also pushes forward with plans to reopen the U.S. Embassy in Libya, proposing nearly $41 million for the phased resumption of operations after a 14-year absence. These actions underscore a renewed U.S. focus on advancing national security interests and countering growing influence from near-peer competitors in the broader Middle East. Market impact. July 20, 2026, thousands more U.S. troops deploy to Middle East amid regional escalation. Thousands of soldiers from the U.S. Army's elite 82nd Airborne Division are now deploying to the Middle East, significantly augmenting an already substantial American military presence in the region. This major troop movement underscores the escalating tensions and the U.S. commitment to bolstering its defensive and deterrent capabilities amidst the deepening crisis. Market impact. July 20, 2026, Democrats urge Trump to halt Iran war as U.S. State Department attacks leftover Cuba. Amid escalating tensions and U.S. troop casualties, Democrats have urgently called on President Trump to halt the Iran war, expressing deep concern over the widening conflict. In a separate, sharp rebuke, the U.S. State Department attacked elements of the American left over their stance on Cuba, labeling them front groups and fellow travelers. These developments highlight deep internal divisions within U.S. foreign policy discourse as the nation grapples with multiple international crises. Market impact. July 19, 2026, U.S. Secretary Rubio affirms diplomacy still possible with Iran despite new strikes. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio declared that diplomatic solutions remain still on the table with Iran, provided Tehran ceases its attacks in the critical Strait of Hormuz. This statement came even as the U.S. and Iran exchanged new strikes on July 20, following the deaths of 2 U.S. troops in Jordan on July 19, underscoring a complex strategy of military response coupled with an open door for negotiations. The Trump administration continues to signal its willingness to engage in talks despite the ongoing hostilities. Market impact. July 21, 2026, Chinese helicopter crosses Taiwan Strait median line, escalating gray zone tactics. A Chinese People's Liberation Army PLA helicopter dramatically crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait, traversing a restricted flight zone east of the line for the first time, introducing 2 new gray zone tactics. This aggressive maneuver marks a significant escalation in Beijing's military posturing towards Taiwan, further heightening tensions in the already volatile region. Market impact. July 21, 2026, Taiwan accelerates drone development amid rising Chinese aggression. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense has elevated drone planning to the vice chief of the general staff level, establishing an internal task force to coordinate its ambitious goal of fielding some 200,000 unmanned aerial vehicles. This strategic push comes amidst increasing Chinese military aggression and aims to bolster the island's asymmetric defense capabilities against potential invasion. Market impact. July 21, 2026, China, India, and Japan face new U.S. tariffs over forced labor concerns. Goods from China, India, and Japan are now subject to a 12.5% levy under new U.S. tariffs, part of a broader American initiative targeting 60 trading partners over alleged failures to act against forced labor. This move by the Trump administration signals a deepening trade rift and underscores Washington's commitment to using economic pressure to address human rights concerns in global supply chains. Market impact. July 19, 2026, Taiwan reviews economic ties with Papua New Guinea amid Beijing's pressure. Taiwan is actively reviewing its economic ties with Papua New Guinea following reports that Port Moresby ordered the closure of Taiwan's representative office, a move the U.S. views as part of Beijing's intimidation campaign. This development highlights China's ongoing efforts to isolate Taiwan diplomatically and economically on the international stage. Market impact. July 19, 2026, Libya joins China's payment system, reducing reliance on U.S. dollar. Libya has officially joined China's payment system, a strategic move aimed at reducing its reliance on the U.S. dollar for international transactions. This decision reflects a broader global trend among some nations to diversify their financial systems and potentially challenge the dollar's dominance in international trade. Market impact. July 19, 2026, China imposes helium export ban, Apple Intelligence approved. China has enacted a ban on helium exports, a critical move that could impact global supply chains for this essential industrial gas. Concurrently, Apple received Chinese approval to roll out its Apple Intelligence features, signaling a significant development for the tech giant's presence in the lucrative Chinese market. Market impact. July 22, 2026, EU's 21st Russia sanctions package postponed, awaiting approval amid member objections. The European Union's 21st package of sanctions against Russia has been postponed for a week, with the next Corper meeting today hoping to secure approval. Greece and Austria continue to object to certain provisions, with Greece demanding an extension of permission to re-export Russian LNG and Austria seeking the removal of a Russian investment company from the sanctions list, highlighting internal divisions within the bloc. Market impact. July 20, 2026, EU recommends suspending methane penalties amid energy crisis and US pressure. The European Union has recommended suspending penalties for oil and gas companies that breach its methane emissions standards, a decision influenced by pressure from the United States and other countries. The European Commission stated that waiving penalties from 2027 to 2030 is crucial to ensure energy supply security, as the ongoing US-Iran war has complicated the implementation of these environmental regulations. Market impact. July 20, 2026, EU fossil fuel import costs surge by €22 billion amid Middle East conflict. The European Union's fossil fuel import costs have surged by over €22 billion since the start of the Middle East conflict 44 days ago, underscoring the severe economic impact of geopolitical instability on Europe's energy security. This dramatic increase highlights the urgent need for the EU to accelerate its transition away from fossil fuels and diversify its energy sources. Market impact. July 20, 2026, Kremlin confirms ongoing US-Russia technical diplomatic contacts amid Ukraine war. The Kremlin stated that while there have been no direct high-level contacts with US representatives in recent days, technical-level diplomatic engagements between Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio are continuing. These ongoing contacts are part of efforts to restore bilateral relations and explore avenues for a peaceful settlement in Ukraine, even as President Trump believes Russian President Vladimir Putin is ready for a peace deal. Market impact. July 20, 2026, North Korea and Russia hold third strategic dialogue in Moscow. North Korean Foreign Minister Cho Sun-hui and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov held their third strategic dialogue in Moscow, deepening cooperation between the two nations. This high-level meeting underscores the strengthening ties between Pyongyang and Moscow, potentially impacting regional security dynamics and international alliances. Market impact. July 19, 2026, Russia launches massive missile and drone attack on Kyiv, halts Black Sea oil loadings. Russia unleashed a devastating barrage of ballistic missiles, drones, and guided bombs on Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities, killing at least 6 people and wounding dozens, exposing Ukraine's critical shortage of US-made Patriot air defense systems. Simultaneously, Russian forces attacked 2 oil tankers at the Caspian Pipeline Consortium CPC terminal off Russia's Black Sea coast, halting oil loadings and further disrupting global energy markets. The Ukrainian Air Force reported shooting down 18 missiles and 108 drones out of 41 missiles and 125 drones launched. Market impact. July 19, 2026, Russian forces recapture territory in Zaporizhzhia, Kharkiv situation deteriorates. Russian forces have successfully recaptured lost territory in western Zaporizhzhia, including the village of Mern, signaling a shift in battlefield dynamics. Reports indicate that battles for Shevchenkov and Svitla near Drushkivka, and for Lyman, are nearing their conclusion, while the situation in Kharkiv continues to deteriorate, with mandatory evacuation becoming a possibility within 6 to 8 months. Market impact. China's activities in the Taiwan Strait are intensifying, with a Chinese helicopter crossing the median line for the first time, employing new gray zone tactics. Taiwan is actively bolstering its drone capabilities, a move closely watched by the U.S. The U.S. has also voiced concerns over Papua New Guinea's closure of Taiwan's representative office, attributing it to Beijing's intimidation campaign. Geopolitically, Libya joined China's payment system, reducing its reliance on the U.S. dollar, while China also imposed a helium export ban. Market impact. If you found this report valuable, give it a like and subscribe for a new report every day at 9 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated.